What's up guys, my name is Chris from Vo-Gus Prospecting. If you're new to the channel, a big warm welcome, and if you're an old moldy hat like the one I'm wearing, welcome back. Today I'm collecting ore from an old ore paddock to crush, and it kind of looks like this. How's that for a bit of geology? In the bucket you go with your friend. What the old timers used to do is take their ore out of their mine, dump it in piles near their crusher and then process it, but they sorted their ore out into categories. Their primary ore was usually stacked up quite close to the crusher and they would work that as soon as possible. But the secondary ore, which is the lower grade ore, was often left aside so that they could use it at later dates. The thing a lot of people don't understand is that miners used to have to get investors to run their operations, and more often than not they'd be making more money from their investors than they would be from their mine. So they'd want their mine to last as long as possible, and that's where these secondary piles would come in handy, because they could mix this stuff with the higher grade stuff, get a lower yield, and make their mine last longer. So you can find these sort of ore piles absolutely everywhere. So we're just picking some likely looking rocks up, putting it in the bucket to take home later and crush up. Now that we've got the ore home, it's time to crush it up. I've selected two pieces. We've got this bit here, which is a really tasty looking bit of rock, and we've also got this bit here, which I've already reduced to powder. To get this down to the same level, we're going to need to put it in a dolly pot, and then we're going to run it through the Belgrade jaw crusher. Because she's slightly too big. That worked out alright, eh? A dolly pot like this would normally take me about an hour to get a rock that size down to powder like I showed you before. But now that we get it down to this size, we can run it through that jaw crusher and it'll probably only take me 10 minutes. One of my fantastic subscribers gave me this idea. He said, why don't you use a mechanics magnetic ball to put under your crusher to pick up all the spalting, and it works perfectly. This is my first pass on all the really big chunks. The idea here is just to reduce the size overall so you can come back and turn it to powder in the next two runs. We've got all this down to under ½ inch, so we're going to tighten up the screw on the back and start reducing this stuff to powder. After two passes, we've got our plus and we've got our minus kitchen strainer. We're going to tighten this thing up as hard as it goes now. And we're going to run this stuff through and turn the rest of it into dust. It's hot. It's like 32 degrees today, which isn't that bad, but the sun's got bite to it and I am sweating. Workouts. This is what I've managed to get down so far. That is quite a lot of ore. We're just doing the last little run of leftover rock now, and then we're going to get a dry weight off it. We need to get a dry weight off this so we know how many ounces or grams per ton the ore is going. Crushed dry weight, 851 grams. And well, there's only one thing left to do. Pan it off. Still dry underneath. Get it wet. Now I'm fully expecting to find some gold, but I'm not expecting to find big chunky nuggets, and that's simply because it's a seconds ore pile. The chance of me pulling out a huge piece is quite slim, especially considering I didn't get any signals on my detector. Alright, down to the pointy end now. I'm expecting to see two things in here. Fine free mill gold and galena, which is lead. Naturally occurring lead. Well, we've got heaps of galena. That's this silvery stuff that's coming out in the pan. Any gold? Oh yeah, we got gold. Yeah. Trying to get it all at the top. Oh, look at the fine stuff. Alright, have a look at this. Well, as you can see, we've got gold. So we've got a few nicer little chunks in there, and then we've got a lot of that ultra fine free mill. That is what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting to find pieces this big. All that silver stuff there, that's naturally occurring lead oxide known as galena. That is a surprising result from a seconds pile. What do you think, water heater? Well, this is all the gold I got out of those rocks next to a cleft guitars pick for a bit of scale. Now I know that does not look like very much at all, but bear in mind that we did less than half a pan's worth of dirt to get that gold. Now I want to see if we can even get a weight off it. Right before we wipe the gold, I just want to let you know about the description below. That's where you can find heaps of links to stuff related to this channel, including my other social media, my merchandise store, and my Patreon account. Right, on with the weigh-in. That tiny amount of gold is going to tell us how rich the ore in the seconds pile is, provided I can get a weight off it. .020. Okay, some maths. So, we want to work out the per ton rate. A ton is 1,000 kilograms. We're going to divide that by our total of 851 grams. That is going to give us how many of those fit into a ton, which is 1,175. Now, we're going to times that by our result, which was 0.020, and that gives us a result of 23.5 grams per ton. 23.5 grams per ton works out at $1,745 Australian at the time of recording, which is pretty good by today's standards, and it's pretty easy digging. The only problem is processing. The little jaw crusher I've got out there isn't for doing big batches, it's for sampling like I just did. I hope this has given you a little bit of insight into some of the rock piles that you might be walking past in the gold fields. And until next time, please give your dog a big scratch behind the ears for me. Peace! And I'm out.